What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Paste Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are broadcasting to you live from the Manhattan Center here on 34th Street, as always. And we are here right now welcoming Jon Foreman. What's going on, man?
Hi.
Welcome to Paste. You just tossed your mic and your harp and harp holder down and exploded on the floor.
Yes,
It's going to be interesting to see how that comes back up together.
It'll come back to bite me, I'm sure.
Yeah, totally.
I'm also, there's like a phantom mannequin head over there in the corner.
Oh yeah, well that's actually there are cameras in the eyes.
I believe it.
It's our overlords just making sure that we're all doing the right thing here.
I knew I had to be careful of that
we're all
one right
under
there.
surveillance all the time. Jon, people know you as the lead singer of Switchfoot, but right now you got this crazy project that you're touring behind. It's called 25 and 24, and it's a film, a documentary. It came out in March. And you somehow managed for this project to perform 25 times, to play 25 shows in the span of 24 hours.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's the basic conceit of the movie, and it sort of rolls out from there. It all sounds completely insane.
Yeah.
I'm going to ask you questions about that later.
All right,
But
perfect.
for right now, let's start out with some music. There were some EPs that came out in 2015 called The Wonderlands. It was a set of 4 EPs. I think that makes up the bulk of the music in this film.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about what we're going to start off with today.
So The Wonderlands was my attempt to kind of create a planet. For me, music has always been... See if it didn't explode that time. Music's always been this place that I could go to and make sense of the real world, like almost a parallel universe that gave me perspective on my life. And I thought, what if I could create an entire day of music? So every song on the Wonderlands lines up with an hour of the day. And then the thought was, well, what if I could perform these songs at that time of day in different locations around San Diego? So that's kind of the Wonderlands in 25 and 24 are almost the same kind of concept. And
yeah.
I figured it'd be appropriate to start the whole thing off with Terminal, which is the first song on the Wonderlands.
All right.
And we played this one on the beach in my hometown to start off the day of playing 25 shows in 24 hours. Doctor says I'm dying, die a little every day. He's got no prescription that could take my death away. The doctor says it don't look so good. It's terminal. Some folks die in offices one day at a time. They could live 100 years, but their souls already died. Don't let your spirit die before your body does. We're terminal. We're terminal. We are the living souls with terminal hearts, flickering like candles, shivering like candles, fatally flawed, fatally flawed. Oh, whenever I start cursing at the traffic or the phone, I remind myself that we've all got cancer Don't yell at the dead. Show a little respect. It's terminal. It's terminal. Hey, we are the living souls with terminal hearts, terminal parts, flickering like candles, shivering like candles, fatally forward, fatally forward. We are the living souls with terminal hearts, terminal parts, flickering like candles, shivering like candles, fatally forward, fatally forward. We are the living souls with terminal hearts, terminal parts, flickering like candles, shivering like candles. We're fatally forward, we're fatally forward. We are the living souls with terminal hearts, terminal parts, flickering like candles. We're shivering like candles, fatally forward in the image of God. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Guys, thank you so much. So that's the first song from the Wonderlands, the very first of 24 songs that was split over 4 EPs. Came out a couple years ago, and it is like that's a heavy song to start off your day with. This is not like Here
Yeah.
Comes the Sun.
Well, it is like, for me, I think it's important if you begin something to kind of have the end in sight.
Uh-huh.
It is odd to start a uplifting kind of journey on that note, but I feel like starting it, for me, it was important to kind of have a little bit of weight at the beginning. And the last song on this whole series was a song called Before Our Time, singing Before Our Time Runs Out. I think I'm kind of hopefully not in a negative way, but a little bit obsessed with death, and writing songs about it kind of helps me wrap my head around it.
Yeah. So, all right. So you played 25 shows in 24 hours. This was on October 24th of last year. Yeah. Is that right?
2 years ago.
Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It was 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. So 25 shows. There are 24 songs. How many how many songs in total did you play that day?
Played, I think, what did we do? Like 80?
It was 80-something.
80-something songs.
Yeah, and how did you choose? So there were different. All right. So I'll describe this a little for the folks out there. There were all kinds of different locations for this. There was a children's hospital. There was a wedding involved. There was at least one
People
restaurant.
were married.
Right. Yeah. Right. I mean, so God.
Yeah, we did a Mexican restaurant with a mariachi band. We did my high school with the band there.
And did you just sort of show up at all these places, or were they booked in advance? Was it a mix?
It was really actually difficult to book regular concert venues for this sort of thing.
Because it's like 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, you're like, hey, we're gonna need your place for an hour at 3:00.
Yeah,
and
we're actually we're great at that.
You
Here-
could
here
pull
at
this
Paste,
off.
That's exactly
Yeah.
what we need. But everyone else, I feel like
Everyone
in the
else,
world-
yeah. 3 songs? No, we're kind of more of a yeah. No, it was amazing though. So we were able to like kind of tailor all these songs for the day. So you're thinking, okay, what the song you're gonna play at the Children's Hospital is gonna be different than the one you play at the Mexican restaurant. We were able to play at this pipe organ. It's one of the largest outdoor pipe organs in the world, and my mom actually, she was a pipe organ major, and I'd never heard her play, so I was like, okay, this is my chance. This is my only chance to get her here to play. We played, and so you were able to kind of say, okay, what kind of vibe are we feeling 3:00 in the afternoon with pipe organ behind you? What are you feeling right there, So it was great, and having just so many albums to choose from, we were able to kind of hand select which song went where.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of amazing. The other thing I was wondering is, so I know they're I watched the trailer for the film, which people can watch on your website, and there's sort of like a caravan at some point that starts to form and follows you along, and immediately I started thinking of the wedding, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
People definitely crashed the wedding. Yeah.
right, and that wedding, were you invited to that wedding, or did you invite yourself?
I was invited.
You were?
And yeah, Keith and I we were on the list, I think.
Yeah.
But there were definitely people that we found. Some of them were there last night in Boston. They were like, yeah, well, we crashed that wedding for sure.
That's amazing. So I have about 1,000 more questions about this, and I'll probably get to 2 of those. But before I do, let's do another song. Tell me a little bit about song number 2 today.
Okay, so you can picture the largest outdoor pipe organ in the world behind us, and this is a song that we played. It's a song called Caroline.
All right.
Since the second time, knew that you never come home. Caroline, you were just a tear in the firelight. You were just a kid when your mama died, and daddy couldn't make it alone. And no wonder out loud where your heart is now, where your heart is now, where your heart is now, where your heart is now. Caroline, Caroline. Now and then you're in the magazines, the tabloid rags and the trash machines, spitting on the image of the memories of a girl with the pigtails flying. Yeah, I had a dream that you were calling home, standing in the storm on a payphone. All that you were getting was a dial tone, with no one on the end of the line. Yeah, and I wonder out loud where your heart is now, where your heart is now, where your heart is now, where your heart is now. Caroline, Caroline. where your treasure is. Maybe there's another way to measure it, 'cause it feels like what you find your pleasure in are the things that are bringing you down. Yeah, yeah. And every now and then I wonder if you ever make it home again, back to the childhood innocence of a girl on her old playground. Yeah, and I wonder out loud where your heart is now, 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 where your where your heart is now.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
So,
you.
all right, more questions
Come on.
about this amazing feat that you pulled off in cinematic form. It's called 25 and 24. Man, where even to begin? Well, you know, all right. So I was wondering about the songs themselves, right?
Yes.
Apart from the project.
Yeah.
As you said, you know, so 24 songs, one for each hour of the day, and they were released in 4 EPs. So, you know, how do you write a song for 2 o'clock in the afternoon versus 7 o'clock in the evening or 3 o'clock in the morning? Like, they're not songs that are like, you know, it's 2 in the afternoon and it's 71 degrees and the breeze is blowing, you know.
Right. And it is so subjective, but I figured, you know, that's what music is it's subjectivity, you know. And I feel like I just kind of tried to picture poignant moments in my life, and so some of the songs were written, and I'm like, okay, what hour of the day is this in? And then other times I'm like, okay, the 3 o'clock in the morning slot is open. What are you feeling? You know, and just kind of trying to use instruments that would kind of evoke that kind of, you know, early morning feel. You know, what are you hearing in your head at 3 o'clock in the morning? What are the song you want to hear?
Yeah.
You know, and yeah, so it is very subjective, but that was the fun of it, I think.
Did you tend to write the songs at roughly the time of day that they were associated with?
I tried to kind of like, you know, if there was a time slot that was open, I was like, okay, it's almost time to now it's time to start writing. Yeah.
Yeah. And so in terms of like the grander scope of the thing, you know, these last few years in terms of the music you make and now this film that you made and the tour that's sort of behind it, it's so connected to like the circadian rhythm. Is like, what is it about that 24-hour cycle that inspires you or wanted, you know, I mean, this is a long track that you put yourself on.
Yeah.
Like it's a commitment, you
Yeah.
know, like thematically. Is there something that has always been part of your creativity or something that's always sort of been inspiring to you?
I mean, I think the metaphor of the sun dying and being reborn and I think, you know, whether we like it or not, this is the planet we live on, and the rhythm's 24 hours. When I was a kid, actually, I thought to myself, I wanted to make like a metric system for time, because I thought it was so odd that we had this. The fact that we still use feet and inches and things like that, and we don't adopt a base 10 system is odd.
Yeah.
But I thought, man, how come we got, you know, 12 months, and they're all different lengths, and 30 and 31
Right, we
days.
need, like
and
leap year
leap
days
year,
to like
yeah.
figure it all out.
Yeah, so the fact is time is messy, you know, 365 and a quarter days, roughly, and then you have to adjust from there. So I guess I've come to a good understanding that time is just messy and it's not base 10, and I have to adjust myself to time rather than adjusting time to me.
Yeah. And of course, this is 25 shows in 24 hours. And so, my last question is like the inevitable. It could have been 24 shows in 24 hours, but it's not. What was that 25th show?
I think we did like 27. We actually did a couple extras.
Really? It's a misnomer.
Just for fun. Yeah, because, we had time in between the shows, and we were like, there's a bunch of people caravanning
I'm sure you guys
around.
were just like, what to do with this extra time.
Yeah,
today.
right? Yeah. And actually, it was much easier to do than we thought. Yeah. It was just a blast, There were technical difficulties, breakdowns, and things that went wrong along the way, but those were also part of the things that went right, where you're like, okay, here we are. Yeah. Let's make something beautiful about right now.
Yeah, totally. Was it the same setup at each show?
No, every show was different.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at Ryan, or one of the guys who orchestrated all those things. So he had, I think, 2 or 3 teams of people that would be setting up and tearing down, and we'd have different drummers. We had the high school band. Keith was the only guy who did all the shows with me. We played on a trolley. I mean, you had these trombones, friends of mine, just showing up at different spots, and yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amazing feat, man. Cool. So we're gonna do one more with Jon Foreman. All these songs are on the Wonderlands EPs, all included in this new film. Tell me a little bit about this last one.
Oh yeah, so I think this was somewhere in the early morning. Patron Saint.
Can you remember?
I can't remember either. But yeah. Was it the part? Oh
yeah, with the trombone.
So this is a good example of the chaos, where these guys, friends of friends, are like found out about that we were doing this, and they just drove down from the Bay Area. It's like 8 hours, and they show up with trombones, and they just start playing along, and it was like those are the moments that I kind of wanted, the beautiful chaos.
Yeah.
So this one's called Patron Saint, and it goes like this.
Patron saints for the handsome, rich and tall. I saw the patron saints parade down City Hall. I felt so out of place, appalling and appalled. They all drove away, and there was no one left to call. There ain't no surrogate savior for my soul. Nah, there ain't no patron saint for rock and roll. Oh, oh, oh. I stood and watched the parade, crowded in the back. I couldn't see a thing through the patriotic flags. The huddled masses and me, disillusioned in the rain, wondering, what does America mean when I feel so out of place? 'Cause there ain't no surrogate savior for my soul. Oh, oh, oh. Now there ain't no patron saint for rock and roll, for rock and roll. Sometimes I feel lonely, devilish and old, as if my congregation were the bitter cold, and my hymnal feels like it's got holes. Christ alone could save my soul. Oh, 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 oh. There's a park downtown where the homeless get ignored, where the church next door is a crowd singing, blessed are the poor, where the Mercedes drive away, muttering Dougie's drunks and whores, where the bumper sticker displays my co-pilot is the Lord, but there ain't no surrogate savior for my soul. Now there ain't no patron saint for rock and roll. Oh, oh. Now there's no surrogate savior for my soul. Yeah, oh, there ain't no patron saint for rock and roll. For rock and roll.
Guys, thank you so much for those 3 songs. So all those songs are on the Wonderlands EPs, which came out. Was it 2015? Those EPs? They all came out in a batch, more or less.
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
That rings a bell.
Yeah. All right. That was many 24-hour cycles ago, and they are all in this new film called 25 and 24, which is a documentary that Jon Foreman here made about his mission one day to play 25 shows in a 24-hour period.
Yes.
And presumably pulled it off, although I haven't seen the end of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's a happy ending, I think.
It's a happy ending.
Yeah, all right, good.
Yeah, no one dies. Keith and I made it.
Here you are, yeah. Cool. So this film, as well as Jon, is on tour. Tonight, if you're in New York City, you can go check it out at the City Winery. It is a concert plus a screening of the movie.
Yeah.
And that's basically how these shows are going. There are more dates around these parts coming up, and you can go to jonforeman.com to find those dates. You can also go there to watch a trailer for the movie and get all kinds of music and information and all the good stuff that websites have to offer. So yeah, guys, thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
For making a 1-hour stop here.
Yes.
In the Paste Studio with us.
Yeah. Thank you for passing the time with us.
Yeah. Oh man, has it already been? However long it's been, I don't even know. Yeah, have a great show tonight. Congrats on this film. It's like I still don't really know how you did it. I've got to go watch the whole movie to find out. Right?
Yeah.
It's a nail biter. It's like a cliffhanger.
It's fun, man. It's good. I think the guys that made the film did an incredible job.
Yeah, that must have been a feat on its own.
That was harder to do than to play 25 shows in 24 hours.
Is to film them.
Yeah, try and figure out. So putting a movie out. All right.
Yeah, and then I'd have that movie last 24 took
took a lot longer.
Yeah, right. It's only 6.5 hours. So if you're at the City Winery tonight, plan to be there until 4 o'clock in the morning. No, that's not true. It's much shorter than that. Guys, thank you so much for coming to Paste Studio.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
And playing for us today. And please come back and play for us again anytime when you do the next insane thing on your list of things to do.
Okay, perfect.
All right, man.
Perfect. Thank you.